Alright, you little monkeys, let's set something straight. I did not steal this video idea from Chupo Tupo. I stole it from a random comment on the Chupo Tupo video, which basically makes it my property. There's an old adage called Murphy's Law that goes, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Frankly, to me, that sounds like some baby talk. Oh, boo-hoo, my life sucks. Everything is going wrong and there's nothing I can do about it, so I might as well not even try. Who even came up with this saying? James Cage White? Oh wait, it was created by a guy named Murphy. Wait, you don't think? In 2016, the creators of Phineas and Ferb were just two guys with this absolutely ridiculous idea. What if we make an entire cartoon about the idea of Murphy's Law? And the main character will be voiced by the guy who sang Fat! And then there we go, Milo Murphy's Law. Watch now on Disney+. The show is about this pencil Dexter fuck named Milo Murphy and the day-to-day adventures he has simply trying to survive in a universe that's constantly trying to kill him through unrelenting calamity. Now, have you ever heard of a niche little underground series called Jojo's Bizarre Adventure? In JJBA, sounds weird to say out loud. In JJBA, many characters have these wacky powers known as stand abilities, which are the physical manifestation of one's spirit. Some are cool, some are lame, and some have sick-ass bowler hats. The Wonder of You is the name of the final arc in JoJo's 8th part, Jojolion, and is also the name of one of the most dangerous, scary, and dripped-out stand abilities in the long-running series. The basic premise of the Wonder of You is that it's the stand ability of some chud incel loser named Toru. Toru can just do his own thing, writing poetry and being stupid and lame, but if anyone makes any form of action of ill intent against Toru, the calamity that would befall Toru is redirected away, and calamity will now befall the person trying to harm Toru, automatically eliminating any threats all the while keeping Toru safe. So for example, let's say you really just hate Toru, which is basically everyone because goddamn this guy sucks. And so you're like, I want to see this guy 6 feet under. So you pull out a gun and shoot at his bum ass. But every time you pull the trigger, the gun jams. Some force of the universe is preventing you from harming Toru. And now for even attempting to harm him, the universe will punish you by having 3 million ants emerge from the earth below you and eat you alive. That is the Wonder of You. Sucks to suck. I don't think the actual stand avatar does much. I think it just shows up to aura farm and to bait you into chasing him like a singed on half HP, which is also a terrible idea because since stand abilities and users are linked at the soul, chasing Mr. Bowler Cap guy also triggers the Calamity Onslaught. He's also like an old ass man for some reason. See, if I was trying to hide my stand in plain sight, I would make him look like Peter Griffin, because that's way cooler. The Wonder of You is the perfect defensive ability. Unlike most other abilities in the series, the Wonder of You doesn't actually offer any offensive capabilities of its own. It can't attack on its own, and if Toru wanted to harm someone else, if the target did nothing but sit around all day digging in they butt, there's not really much Toru can do. Which is why if I was Toru, I would simply be packing heat at all times. Sometimes, you don't got the time to wait for Calamity to do its thing, okay? Calamity is a word you hear a lot from both Milo Murphy's Law and the Wonder of You arc. A calamity is the old-timey English way of calling something a disaster. Very popular word in the 1800s, kinda died out for a bit during the 20th century, but by the late 2010s, we're bringing it back. When you slip on a banana peel and hit your head, that's calamity. When you be chopping those vegetables and you accidentally chop a finger, that's calamity. When you invade a country as massive as Russia with a shoddy supply line weeks from winter, and then sit around in Moscow for like a month twiddling your thumb, well, that's just embarrassing. When the Wonder of You places you in the flow of calamity, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna die immediately. The severity of the calamity the Wonder of You throws at you does seem to vary greatly. From minor inconvenience to what the hell, the rain is actually killing us. What are we even supposed to do here? How is this balanced? If you're skilled enough, it is entirely possible to survive quite a long time within the flow of calamity. Really, it's just like trying to survive in a final Personally, I like to think of Calamity like a Rube Goldberg machine of evil and malice. It doesn't have to be a series of unfortunate events one after another, but in these two series, it usually is. It is kinda interesting how despite both series covering Calamity, they both approach it from a different angle. The Calamity in Milo Murphy's seems to lean more into the really long Rube Goldberg chain events, butterfly effect, chaos shenanigans, whereas a lot of the Calamity in Jojo's is a lot more direct and dare I say, bizarre. My favorite example being a scene where Josuke, not that Josuke, they just had the same name, I don't think I explained that earlier. A scene where Josuke is in a hospital parking lot and he gently bumps hands with this random bloke. But then because of Calamity directed towards Josuke, the dude's neck does an immediate 90-degree turn, killing him instantly. What the hell did this guy ever do? Wonder if you couldn't have like, I don't know, thrown another cigarette at Josuke? No. We just had to kill this random guy in particular because fuck you, that's why. Milo Murphy lives his life in a permanent state of calamity. Because you see, Milo's family has been cursed and forced to suffer calamity till the day they die. At that point, I would just stop having kids. Clearly, the universe does not want your bloodline here. Take the hint, Milo. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe at least don't name your kid Milo Murphy. I mean, come on! You're just asking for it at that point. What makes this matchup so interesting is that Milo Murphy and the Wonder of You are two sides of the same coin. They're yin and yang. One brings calamity to themselves, and the other brings calamity to those who wish him harm. The Wonder of You is incredibly dangerous. Through his arc, we see many characters who perish to the calamity, and our heroes are pushed to their absolute limit trying to figure out how you even fight such a daunting ability. And after witnessing how much strife, loss, and suffering Josuke and everyone else go through to try and overcome such a daunting ability, it makes me wonder, in a battle to the death, who would win? The terrifying tyrant we know as the Wonder of You, or Milo Murphy from the Disney show? Let's start by looking for weaknesses. To defeat the Wonder of You, you need to accomplish two things. First, you need to be able to survive in the flow of calamity long enough to accomplish. Number two, you have to find a way to eliminate the Wonder of You or its stand user, Toru. Like I mentioned earlier, because the Wonder of You redirects calamity away from itself, any actions taken with ill intent towards either the stand or the user are completely negated. How powerful you are does not matter. You will not be able to cause harm to the Wonder of You. You just can't. Let's start with surviving the flow of calamity. It's hard to gauge how long a character could theoretically survive in the flow of calamity, because the calamity events are going to be different every time. So to solve this, we're gonna have to look for precedent. Milo Murphy has survived 40, technically 80 episodes of unrelenting calamity, with a 100% survival rate. Since Milo has spent his whole life dealing with calamity, he's become incredibly adept at dealing with those sorts of situations. For one, Milo keeps that strap on him, and by strap I mean survival gear. Milo doesn't leave home without his big bag of beneficial belongings that has everything and anything you'd need to survive any form of calamity. Bandages, ropes, inflatable ladders. I wouldn't even be surprised if he carried around adrenochrome, just in case he encounters some kind of evil aliens with a super aging ray gun. Furthermore, due to Milo's experience living under calamity, he's always able to remain calm, level-headed, and pragmatic even in the most insane situations. There's a reason why emergency operators always start by telling you to stay calm. Once you begin to panic, you waste time. You stop thinking rationally, which can lead you to making poor choices that only make the calamity worse.
Phew! Made it all in one piece!
But also, if the Wonder of You gives Milo a calamity event he's experienced before, he'll already know how to survive it. Let me explain. Milo Murphy is 13 years old and has been dealing with calamity not only since the day of his birth, but without any days off. The average Milo Murphy's Law episode has Milo dealing with around 15 different calamities. Give or take, it really depends on how picky you get with what you call a calamity. If we extrapolate on that data, we can assume that Milo Murphy has survived around 71,000 calamity events. And the lad's not even in high school yet. With so many calamity events, there's bound to be repeats, or at least events similar enough that Milo can reuse strategies or tactics to survive them. The Wonder Review would have to get pretty creative to throw new Calamity events at Milo that he has not already successfully dealt with in the past. Unfortunately for Milo, I think it probably could. Let me talk about that killer rain scene. There's a scene in Jojolian where, because of the Wonder Review's Calamity, Josuke and co get targeted by killer raindrops. I don't think there's anything scientifically special about the rain. It's not like acid rain or something, and we know that because the nearby police officers who are also standing in the rain are completely unaffected. It is evil rain that is getting knocked into our protagonists because of Calamity. And that's about as deep as the explanation goes. All of the Calamity Milo has faced is absurd, sure. But they generally follow the same laws of physics we follow, with some leeway given because it is a cartoon and funny cartoon slapstick shenanigans must be had. I highly doubt Milo has encountered highly targeted evil rain because that's not a thing that could happen otherwise. Not to say Milo Murphy's law is completely grounded in reality. There is an arc in the show where Milo gets summoned to an alien planet to save their race from total annihilation. Why is Dr. Doofenshmirtz here? Considering Milo's Calamity surviving prowess, well, I mean, just look at this clip. Milo is known as the guy who survives Calamity. I really do think that if the Wonder Review placed Milo within the flow of Calamity, life wouldn't change all too much for Milo. Sure, there might be more Calamity than usual or new types of Calamity, but to survive as long as Milo has, he's clearly learned to become incredibly adaptive to any situation. But surviving is not winning. I want to see one of these two dead, and the fight does not end until one of them is gone. If Milo wants to defeat the Wonder Review, he's gonna have to find a way to kill it. But before we continue, I want to share with you guys something. I spent days thinking. I sat my bum ass down and I thought. In JoJo's, the Wonder Review is defeated, but only by basically breaking the laws of the universe itself with a separate stand ability. And that is something that Milo just can't do. But I think I did find a real weakness in the Wonder Review's defense. A weakness that's never explored in JoJo's. And I see why it isn't. It's a weakness, sure, but it's not one anyone can reasonably exploit. Well, almost anyone. I'm gonna explain the Wonder Review's ability one final time and see if you can figure it out. If you do, you get 100 Chewy points. The Wonder Review is an automatic stand ability that activates when anyone takes any sort of action of pursuit. The Wonder Review then protects itself and Toru by redirecting the Calamity away from them, and the person attempting to pursue them is punished by being placed in the flow of Calamity. And the weakness lies here. If you try and shoot Toru, that is a Calamity born from an intent to pursue. If you attempt to chase him down a hallway, that is also a Calamity born from an intent to pursue. But if Toru were to get struck by lightning, well, that's just a Calamity. Lightning is just lightning. It has no intent, it has no will. It exists and operates according to the laws of the universe. The Wonder Review does not protect Toru from completely ambivalent disasters. The manga makes it clear time and time again that negative intent is the trigger for the Wonder Review's defense. By the way, when I say negative intent, I don't mean just thinking about him. That's a common misconception surrounding the Wonder Review. It's triggered by actual actions, not thoughts. Lord knows I'm already responsible for enough JoJo misconceptions. But how does this help? You can't trigger lightning. And if, say, you had some sort of lightning power, that would probably be ill intent and therefore blocked by the Wonder Review. But what about Milo Murphy? Everywhere Milo goes, disaster follows. And we see firsthand in the show how even though the disasters have Milo as a target, quite often do other people surrounding Milo get caught up in the calamities. But fortunately, the characters in Milo Murphy's Law don't really die from the calamities they go through. Milo's friends always seem to pull through any disaster they get caught up in just fine. But this stipulation has nothing to do with the calamities not being deadly enough. It's because this is a TV Y7 Disney cartoon. Of course Melissa's not gonna get beheaded by a falling razor. But Toru doesn't have that same luxury. Toru is from a series where people do die. A lot, and often very brutally too. This is a series where people get exploded and other people get turned into a rock. And Toru is really just a guy. JoJo's has characters who have shown to be incredibly capable people. Characters I think would be much better at dealing with all sorts of wacky calamities. But Toru is not one of them. He doesn't have any real strength or any real speed, and he never really shows any kind of crazy thinking on his feet or innate talent. If Toru got caught up in some of the calamities that Milo has to deal with on a daily basis, he would die. Realistically, all Milo would have to do to defeat Toru is get close to him. Now don't get me wrong, that is definitely a huge task on its own, but as I explained before, Milo probably would be able to survive in the Wonder of U's flow of calamity for at least a decent amount of time. From there, it would be a battle of attrition, a fight between two characters who aren't actively attacking each other as random calamities start going wild between them. And whoever succumbs to the chaos first, whoever dies to the calamity, they're the loser. Toru would not be prepared. He's dished out calamity, but never in his life has he ever been on the receiving end of it. Whereas Milo, this is every single day of his life. To put it simply, Toru cannot out-survive Milo Murphy. Even if the Wonder of U doubled the amount of calamity Milo had to deal with, he would still find a way to pull through like he always does. And all it takes is one mistake, one completely ambivalent environmental calamity. But that is all it would take to end Toru and eliminate the Wonder of U once and for all. And that is why I believe in a 1v1 deathmatch, Milo Murphy from the Disney show Milo Murphy's Law would smoke Toru and the Wonder of U, one of the most oppressive and overpowered stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And when I think about Milo Murphy, this Phineas and Ferb-ass character, being able to defeat what a lot of people consider one of the most powerful abilities in the 37 years of JoJo's serialization, it makes me think of one line in particular from the Milo Murphy's Law opening. After singing about how great Milo's life is, he says, "It's my world and we're all living in it."
It's my world and we're all living in it.
It's my world and we're all living in it. At first, it just seems like a cute throwaway line in a cartoon theme song, but think about it. The universe itself revolves around Milo. Calamity, chaos, call it a curse, but it's irrefutable proof that whatever higher power exists in this universe has its focus on Milo Murphy. And that is a level of impact nobody else on this planet has. It truly is Milo's world, and we're all living in it.
I mean, what is all of this? And what is the J word?